Jumping into the number 5 spot of the best Black Friday gaming mice deals is the glorious Model D/Model O. Typically priced from anywhere from $50 to $85, now on sale. Every single one of them the same price, $31.99. Also, if you want to check out any of the 5 mice in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. Also to mention, with that $31.99 price tag, currently there's also a 5% off coupon, so even less than that. All the stats and specs here are gonna be for the Model D, but you can either get the Model O, Model D in the standard or the minus format with all of the different colors. Every single one of them is $31.99, so that's pretty cool. The sensor is the 3360 sensor. This has a 1000 hertz polling rate, 12,000 DPI, 250 IPS, and 50 Gs of acceleration. The build quality overall is a solid build. The Model D is a right-handed mouse where the Model O is ambidextrous. This has some RGB accents which look great. It's a very lightweight mouse. It also glides incredibly well. For the skates, these are really nice. There's no noticeable pulling or dragging, so for fast-paced FPS games, this was great. The switches here are Omron switches, which feel pretty nice, and overall a good weight for FPS games. For connectivity, this has a non-detachable, ultralight cable design, and it's fantastic. There's no problems. This mouse feels wireless. For a $31.99 price tag, that is crazy. If you're just trying to get a nice, lightweight FPS gaming mouse, you can't go wrong with that price. It's also a great gift to give to people. But with that, let's move on to the number 4 spot, and this is where it starts to get crazy. There's amazing mice deals this Black Friday. This is the HyperX Pulsefire Haste, typically priced at $79.99, now on sale for $49.99. A pretty good price for this mouse. This uses the 3335 sensor, has a 1000 hertz polling rate, up to 16,000 DPI, 450 IPS, and 40 Gs of acceleration. It's also balanced really well with a nice glide at only 61 grams. For build quality, this feels really well put together. There's no creaks. It has a matte, grippy texture with glossy accents all over it. This is a mouse that doesn't look amazing online, but then you get it in hand and you're like, oh, this definitely is more premium than I expected. This has TTC golden micro dustproof switches, which is a heavier switch for more precision, and I love this mouse. There's nothing I don't like about this mouse, and I've daily driven this mouse before, and I could use it every single day. Now for connectivity, this is actually wireless. You can use this with a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle and still maintain that 1000 hertz polling rate, or you can use this in wired fashion with a USB Type-C. Battery life with the RGB on, leaving it on most of the day, is gonna be about 60 hours, and that's real life. HyperX claims about 100 hours, though that might be with RGB off. And obviously it charges via USB-C. Overall, for the price, it's a great mouse. But with that, let's move on to the number 3 spot, which is one of my favorite mid-grade mice of all time, but now in a budget price category. This is the Fantech Aria XD7. Typically priced at $78.80. Now on sale for $55.16. Don't forget the 16 cents. This uses the 3395 sensor, like a renowned sensor. That's like one of the best ever. This has a 1000 hertz polling rate, up to 26,000 DPI, 650 IPS, and 50 Gs of acceleration. This is balanced extremely well. For my hand, this kind of cool egg shape is very grippy. It's fantastic for liftoffs. It has a really nice glide, and it weighs in at only 60 grams, 61 grams, depending on the shell, but it actually comes with 2 shells, either a cutout shell or a non-cutout shell. Switches here are KLGM 8.0, and they are super crispy. I really do like them. Build quality here is also solid with no creaks. Again, like I said, this has 2 magnetic shells, one with cutouts, one without. There's also dongle storage inside, so you can store that USB dongle inside so you won't lose it, which is something I love. You got the Aria logo on the side, and overall just the shape is so freaking good. I think for a lot of people, this is gonna be like one of their favorite mice shapes if they get this mouse. For connectivity, this is wireless with either Bluetooth 5.0, which you don't wanna use for gaming, or a USB dongle that obviously lets you hit that 1000 hertz polling rate. Then they claim 40 hours of usage, which I've found to be pretty dang accurate, and this charges via USB-C. But with that, let's move on to the number 2 spot, which shocked me. This sale shocked me to my bones. This is the SteelSeries Aerox 3 wireless, typically priced at $99.99. Now it is 50% off $49.99. Buy this mouse right now. If you don't have a nice mouse, buy this mouse right now. This uses the TrueMove air sensor. Hits a 1000 hertz pulling rate, up to 18,000 DPI, 400 IPS, and 40 Gs of acceleration. Now, build quality here is fantastic. This weighs 68 grams when feeling the size, shape, everything, that weight is perfect for this. There's cutouts on the bottom and the top. There is absolutely awesome RGB. It's an ambidextrous design, great for pretty much any grip style, some wiggliness to the clicks. That is literally the only con, but it is fantastically balanced for a faster playstyle. These use SteelSeries mechanical switches. They feel very good, but again, they do have some jiggliness, and that's the only problem. However, I still think this is one of the best looking mice of all time. It is absolutely stunning, and it's so nice to game on. For connectivity, this is wireless, obviously, with a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle. You get that 1000 hertz pulling rate if you use the dongle. You can also then go Bluetooth or wire with a USB Type-C cable, and you get between 22 to 24 hours of continuous usage with the dongle and RGB maxed out. But if you don't have RGB on, it's 80 hours, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. Now, before we jump into the number one spot, we have an honorable mention, and this is the Razer Basilisk V3, one of my favorite non-lightweight gaming mouse of all time. This is typically priced at $69.99, now on sale for only $39.99. That is a fantastic price for a very premium feeling mouse. Now again, if you like something like the Logitech G502, if you're used to something like that, this is like that mouse, but better in every way. This uses the Razer Focus Plus optical sensor, hits a 1000 hertz pulling rate, up to 26,000 DPI, 650 IPS, and 50 Gs of acceleration. For the build, this is a right-handed ergonomic mouse with a thumb rest. This is also one of my favorite mice to edit videos on. So if you're a creator and gamer, this also is a really great mouse. If you also like a palm grip where you're really gripping something substantial, this is nice. It has injection molded sides, which feels super high quality, tons of programmable buttons, super bright RGB, an ultralight cable that makes it feel wireless, a great scroll wheel that can either go tactile or freewheel, and you wouldn't expect it, but it glides quite smoothly, and it weighs in at only 101 grams, which is a lot, but it's not a lot when you compare to other mice of this size. For the switches, these are using Razer's Gen 2 optical switches, which have a very nice, satisfying click and a nice weight to them. For the cable, like I said, it's just that ultralight cable that Razer uses. It's pretty much similar to everything else in the industry. It feels wireless if you keep some slack on it. But with that, let's move on to the number one best gaming mice deal of Black Friday 2023. This is the Logitech G Pro X Superlight, typically priced at $159.99. Now on sale for $109.99. This uses the Hero 25K sensor. It has a 1000 hertz pulling rate, up to 25,600 DPI, 400 IPS, and 40 Gs of acceleration. This is a notorious mouse. It is the single most used wireless gaming mouse that professional gamers use. I think 25% of all professional gamers that use wireless gaming mice use this mouse. The weight and the balance is basically perfect. This comes in at 63 grams. It's an ambidextrous feel, although it feels just like you're at home on it. Whenever I use this mouse, I feel like I game better. Maybe that's just placebo, but I always feel like it just works. This has a really smooth controlled glide, actually a better glide than the Superlight 2 that's fairly new at this point. This is good for every grip style, and like I said, one of the most widely used mice of all time. This has Omron switches and they feel really good. And for connectivity, this is obviously wireless with a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle that gets you that 1000 hertz pulling rate. Or you can also use this wired with a micro USB cable, not USB Type-C. So what are you gonna do? But as far as battery life, this is 70 hours and there's no RGB. But again, if you wanna check out any of the 5 or 6 mice in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. If you want to get your hands on a Superlight, go with the G Pro X Superlight while it's on sale now. But if not, and you want a lightweight gaming mouse, the Aerox 3 is a crazy good deal right now. I wish I didn't spend $100 so I could have spent half that. But yeah, this is Consumer Tech Review, and I'll see you guys in the next video.